Hello everyone and welcome back. I'm the Yellow Brick Rabbit and today we're going to discuss why Star Wars and Disney are morons. This is the stupidest thing you could do right now. It's like the most spiteful, dumb, profitless action you could take at the moment. What are you thinking? Who do you think you're gonna get by this? Let's go through it. All right, so this is fair warning. I already know what's gonna be coming up down here. We aren't going to watch the trailer because there's no point. If you do want to see the trailer or reaction to the trailer or whatever, then I recommend going to check out Ivan Ortega or MechaRandom42. They have both done videos on the trailer at least. I found this article thanks to MechaRandom42 actually. Thank you. If you ever see this video. But so you may be asking, oh, so you're just gonna rehash what they said? No. This is the issue. I think MechaRandom42 gave them way too much benefit of the doubt and did not read this article critically enough. So let's read the article because that's what we're gonna be doing here. The Star Wars saga continues to expand its animation offerings, with Lucasfilm announcing that Star Wars Galaxy of Adventures will be launching later this week on the all-new platforms. And yeah, so they're making new platforms to try and push that onto that. Now, if you've been a Star Wars fan for a long time, if you've been in the current controversies that have been going on, then you'll know that they seem to be saying that it isn't all ready for kids, which is odd because it's one of the reasons that they keep telling us to shut up about why we don't like it. So let's move on. Here we can see all you need from the trailer. The trailer is not a trailer, by the way. It's a trailer of the animations. It shows a bunch of original trilogy and prequel things. And it's done in this minimalist anime style that just, I mean, it's embarrassingly ugly. Luke looks like a little girl. Leia, I mean, look at that. Look at that face. This is the face they put on the front. Look at that scowling word I don't want to use that starts with a B. Because that's what she looks, and she's pointing. Oh my, pointing. Ugh. Pouty face. Pouty face. And that's what this show is, by the way. This is people at Disney being pissed off that people don't like their bullcrap, so they decided they'd make an entire show to push their bullcrap in your face. StarWars.com describes, the first 6 shorts combine original dialogue, music, and sound effects with bold new animations and fun and educational add-ons designed to help older fans, parents, and other mentors to welcome the kids in their lives to explore the galaxy far, far away. Okay, so here we have a problem. We have a serious problem here. Because you see, older fans, parents, and mentors, they already do welcome kids into a galaxy far, far away. They use the original films, the ones that they fell in love with when they were younger. And when their kids are of an appropriate age, they are giddy. The adults are giddy with expectation of watching those beloved movies with their children. Not watching some elementary school prepubescent versions of the movie with terrible art, and you're gonna retcon everything. You're gonna retcon absolutely everything. You're going to take the original Star Wars and you're going to switch every single thing that we say was original and is wrong with The Last Jedi and all the new stuff. You're going to try and retcon bullcrap into the middle of scenes from the original trilogy so that you seem to be right. And then all we're going to ever hear is, oh, but in Galaxy Adventures, they changed that. They changed that. You see, it's been retconned. Like, no. No. This is manipulative and trife. Nobody wants to watch this. Why would I, why? Why would I, as a parent, put my kids through this? I don't know what this is. I don't know whether this is good or not. The old movies, I know are good. I know I loved. I know I would like to share with my kids. I wouldn't like my kids to have already seen it as an animation before we get to sit down and watch it, because they'd have already seen it, basically, and seen it wrong. So this undermines these people. It doesn't help them in any way. It's ridiculous. Bold new animations. Bold new animations. I mean, they're new. They ugly. Undefined, ugly messes. Blobs of color. Of barely different color. Star Wars series has always attempted to appeal to audiences of all ages. No, the Star Wars series has always appealed to all ages. Though some of the material in the saga's 40-year history might be too intense for younger viewers, you aren't quantifying what younger viewers are. Yes, there are children who are probably too young to understand the original trilogy to the fullest effect, where they are too young to quite get most of the themes and things like this. Then wait a couple years before you watch the original trilogy with your kids. These new animated shorts will allow these younger viewers to enjoy the core components of the stories in far more accessible ways than watching the movies themselves. We figured out a brand new way for you to ride the train that is far better than actually getting on the train itself. Yeah, that sounds ridiculous, doesn't it? That's because it is ridiculous. You understand parents decide what their children watch, right? Like those numbers, they aren't legally binding. PG-13 means parental guidance 13. It means parents should probably watch with their children if they're under 13. That's it. It doesn't mean that children under 13 will have, brain damage from watching something or something like that. This is ridiculous. So maybe there's something in the article later about it. I know I wanted to say something about it. With Galaxy of Adventures, we wanted to craft something that allowed parents to help their kids take their first steps into a much larger world where whether they were ready to show their kids the real films or wanted to find new ways to explore the content. What do you mean? What? Why would they need this? Why would they need this to take the first steps into a larger world if they were ready to show their kids the films? Why wouldn't they just watch the films? Oh my god, this is from the vice president of the franchise. Wow. You gotta be kidding. You actually said this stupid schmutty stuff? Here, you want to know how much confidence and logic is in the people running Lucasfilm right now? None. They're complete and utterly brain dead. Advances in digital media are effectively reshaping how kids consume content. Not with this piece of crap. What are you talking about? Advances in animation. You aren't using jack of an advancement. You could have made this in 1920. And it would still be bad art. With platforms like YouTube allowing for stories to unfold in more easily digestible portions than a feature-length movie or even a 20... Oh my god! This is not a thing. This is not a thing. There is no. A feature-length movie is not an undigestible portion of content. What do you... A 22-minute animated episode is too long to hold attention. Well, oh my God, then we need to do something to increase the attention span. The answer isn't make everything 5 minutes long because that's as long as people can hold their attention span. And it would be terrible for your kids' attention span to continue to throw them in front of stuff like this. So you're basically talking about retarding children, which makes sense because that's what your movies are about too, and all of your other animations. They are so retarded, and I mean that in a technical sense. I mean, they literally take things and undo what... It allows us to really drill into moments. What? By taking 3 feature-length movies and turning them in to smaller than 22-minute animated episodes, even smaller than that, because this is apparently too long for them to keep attention. And 6 of them, okay, so 6 things of less than 22 minutes are somehow allows them to drill into moments to tell simple stories. To tell something. We don't want simple stories. This is Star Wars. Unencumbered by the needs of a traditional narrative structure. Yeah, so not a story. Simple stories that aren't stories. It's allowing the creators to play more, experiment more. I don't want creators to be playing and experimenting more with a core franchise that has been established for 40 years. If they want to play or experiment, they need to make their own original thing. Creating content that is unabashedly for kids in this bite-sized, unique animated form. No, it's not for kids. You already said that in the beginning that it was for parents and guardians and other older fans and mentors to welcome kids into a galaxy far, far away with educational and fun things designed to go on with them. So it's not for children. It's an educational thing. What are you talking about? Allowed new moments to evolve out of the old. Yeah, see, this is what it's all about. The new moments evolving out of the old. And by that you mean destroying the old movies and the care that was put into them and the world that it created so that you can push your new crap that is devoid of anything of worth. And new ways to look at the content. Why would you need a new way to look at the content? Nobody is upset with the original Star Wars. People like the original Star Wars. They are some of the most successful things in film history. And ultimately expanded the potential of how Star Wars should look and feel. Okay, hearing this from Disney right now is so up your own ass, Disney, that how it should look and feel. You don't know jack about how it should look and feel. You have failed over and over and over and over again. Hopefully it expands the horizon of younglings everywhere in the path to becoming Padawans and ultimately Jedi Knights. Alright, so here's the problem with this, Disney. I know you're looking at this and going, why aren't there more kids interested in Star Wars? Why do we only have 15% of our demographic is children going to our movies? What's going on here? And by children, that's everyone under the age of adult, almost. Actually, I think it is just everyone under the age of adult. So like up to 16. Alright, so 15% of your audience is children, and you're trying to push that up. And you don't quite understand why. Why are there only 15% of kids? Why aren't kids going into this? Well, because you've shot yourself in the foot 500 times. So let's go through why you don't have kids watching Star Wars content. Because you touch on it, you know it, but you're just keeping yourself from realizing it. See, you said up here that older fans, parents, and mentors welcome kids into the galaxy far, far away. We aren't doing that. Not with your content. I still look forward to the day that I get to watch the original trilogy as the original trilogy was intended. Not this crap. With my kids one day. With my goddaughter one day. The last thing I want is for them to be corrupted by your bull before they get to watch it. And the last thing I would let them watch is new Disney crap. I work in the education sector. And if any parent asked me what media is the most damaging to my children, anything Disney has created for the last 15 years. Anything Disney has created for the last 15 years, you need to keep your kid away from. It is morally, ethically, and educationally bankrupt. Because I don't want my little girl to learn the lessons of Rey, to learn to one day call me nobody, to go around being higher and mightier than everyone else despite having no reason to pout and complain constantly about everything, whether it's amazing what's happening to her or terrible. That would be terrible. Rey is a terrible example for young girls, and I would never, ever subject any kids in my life to your new Star Wars crap. And this is your problem. None of us are bringing our kids to this. None of us want to. We want to keep our kids as far away from this manipulative, disgusting, worthless franchise. And by that, I'm talking about Disney Star Wars. I'm talking about Disney's stuff. I'm not some crazy conspiracy theorist that's sitting here going like, oh, Disney's trying to corrupt your kids with this and this and this. But you are trying to influence children. And there is a distinct narrative in the things you've been making the last few years that is detestable and gross, especially for children. Fans of animated Star Wars adventures can also check out Star Wars Resistance, which airs on the Disney Channel and Disney XD. Here's the problem with that. Fans of animated Star Wars adventures are fans of Star Wars that like animation. If you like animation, the last thing you want to do is watch this because you're going to run to the bathroom and claw your eyes out at how terrible it looks. Teach your kids. We know kids that actually consume our type of content are so brain damaged that they can't handle a 22-minute cartoon episode. No. They're far too brain dead for that. We're going to have to make something far smaller and conciser and far simpler for them to quite grasp because they're mentally retarded. Thanks to us and all of our bull that we've thrown in their face. Thank you for trusting us with your kids. We've destroyed them. And this is where the 15% comes in. That's what I was talking about and then got sidetracked. Sorry. So yeah, the 75% of your demographic falls in the like 18 to 50-ish range. And the majority of us have children or children in our lives. As you know, that's why you're doing this, to make us to somehow think that you're going to fool us into actually having our kids digest this. I mean, you've got to understand at least that the majority of us are going to check it out first before we let our kids see it. And another problem for you is that, I mean, 7, 8, yeah, 7 or 8. I have no problem with a 7-year-old watching the original trilogy. They'd be fine, especially with parental guidance. There's nothing in them that's particularly terrible for them. A dude gets his arm chopped off. There's no blood, even. Oh, there's some blood in the Cantina one. So what? So you're making a show for people to share Star Wars, the original trilogy, with children under the age of like 5. Which is pointless. Now here's something extra sad, and that is, you keep saying kids like kids is a singular demographic, as if kids all had the same brain development, and that there were no such thing as, key stages in development, and that there's no such thing as thinking something is too childish, especially when you're still a child, those 3-year-olds, always, just playing fantastically with the 7-year-olds. The 7-year-olds don't need Lego or something. They don't need something better than Duplo. No. They're fine with that. They're not going to come up and say that's for babies, that's for kids, that's for small kids. No. You can easily just use the exact same thing for kids from 0 to 16. That 16-year-old is going to be fully ensconced in the exact same thing as the 4-year-old. And when he grows up for 12 years, he isn't going to grow out of the thing that was childish, that is childish. And now people are going to be annoyed because I'm calling Star Wars childish. I'm not saying that Star Wars, the original stuff, is childish. What I'm saying is they're making it childish. They're making the brand childish and only childish, which means that, 10-year-old me would have looked at Resistance and gone, this is for babies. And it would have destroyed my ability to take anything Star Wars serious ever again. It would just be, the little kids thing that I thought was childish when I was 10. That's not good. You can't push something on an entire range of childhood. When you're small and you enjoy something, you grow out of things. People make fun of you for liking things that they liked when they were half that age. That's how children are. Let's be honest. I don't actually think this is for kids. This isn't about kids. This isn't for kids. This isn't even about making a series. This is about retconning the original trilogy so that you can use things from this bowl to try and say, no, this happens in Star Wars and this happens in Star Wars, and you don't get to say that the new things are flawed and have nothing to do with Star Wars and are terrible. And you can tell from this and from the trailer, more from the trailer. I'm still not going to go through the trailer. But this face, this smug little face on Han, is what is on Han's face in every single scene. Smug character. Pouty character. Yes, she's sneering and pouty and angry in every single scene in the trailer. Little girl Luke. Yes, little girl Luke. That's what we needed, right? Yeah, no. Colorless Chewie. That's grumpy. Colorless, grumpy Chewie. You obviously don't understand Chewie. 3PO's eyes look like crazy popping there as well. That's like nuts. Something is wrong with that. And if you have any question on whether they're going to retcon everything for the purposes that I'm mentioning, and that it isn't for kids really, and it isn't really about what the hell they're trying to push here, it's about undermining the original trilogy, actually. Why is it set in the original trilogy? Why on earth would you set it in the original trilogy? All of this, at like almost every single scene, if not every single scene, is a direct crappy art translation from scenes in A New Hope and Empire Strikes Back and Return of the Jedi and a few of the prequels. And they're using the original audio and things like that to use over it. So there's no... no. We know exactly what you're doing. If you were trying to expand the universe, to give us more, to do, then you would be making a show about something that isn't already discussed. We don't need child-proof episodes 4, 5, and 6. They're already okay for kids. Now, what you could make for any demographic is something to do with the times that we don't know anything about, or that need more information on them. Not this one. Anything but this stuff. But we already know that you can't. We had Star Wars Resistance, which I haven't watched a single episode of, because it just looks so terrible. It looks like something that like a first-year animation student would do as his first project. Look, I did 3D like animation models. Yeah, what? Why do they look flat? I'm not talking about this. I'm talking about Resistance. But what is Resistance about? I hear Resistance is about racing or something, or like pilots racing, which doesn't even make any sense. Like, what are you doing? Why? Why on earth is the thing about the Resistance or the start of the Resistance all about racing and racers and what? Like I said, I haven't seen it, so I don't know how much of it. But none of it should be in there. Why don't you make a show about Star Wars instead of making shows that are set in the galaxy of Star Wars? Stop making Money Train in Space and calling it Star Wars. Stop making The Wizard of Oz in the Star Wars universe. We don't need that. We really don't. Do them as your side things. You know, Solo wasn't too bad. I didn't go see it in cinemas because I was part of the boycott. Because screw you. That was disgusting. And then I watched it. I watched it when my brother got a copy of it. So I was down at his place and I watched it. It wasn't that bad. It really wasn't that bad. Now, you made it sound twice as bad with this type of reporting beforehand, so I was never going to go watch it, even if I hadn't been part of the boycott originally. And I wasn't part of any pre-planned boycott. I decided to boycott the moment I walked out of the cinema of The Last Jedi. So, I mean, you've shown that you are incapable of writing a half-decent story. Because everything you bring out has an absolutely garbage story. So why on earth would we want you to remake this? Why on earth would we want to watch how you're going to butcher these characters in their original setting? Why on earth would any of us want that? Here's a public service announcement. Keep your kids away from this. I guarantee you it's not gonna be good for them.